Good afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients. My name's Priscilla. Heather's above me, and there today our special guest, Juno.
Yay!
Welcome, Juno. We're so happy to have you here today.
Oh, I'm excited to join you guys, and I'll see everybody today. So
yeah, it's nice to see something besides your hands.
Thanks.
It really is.
It really is.
It truly is.
Yeah,
it's great to see your smiling face.
Oh,
your beautiful smiling face.
Oh, thanks. Oh, shucks.
Welcome,
thanks.
everybody. You know, I didn't think about it, but Heather, did anybody pull cards for the show? Can we pull a quick card? Just one card?
I will pull a card from
I forgot to do it, and I usually do. Hi,
I was going to, but then it was time to start. So.
Today we're going to talk about crystals because, you know, Juno's pretty much of a crystal expert, even though she tries to downplay that. She has a lot of experience with them.
I got a lot of rocks in my
at
head.
the Tucson Gym Show for 7 years. I can't imagine getting any knowledge out of that.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't
evidently,
absorb a thing.
something new is going to happen because this is evolution, starting something new.
Woohoo! Sounds good to me.
So, birthing the news. Something's going to come from this. We're just getting it started.
See what I've got for today. I'm using the Sacred Rebel Oracle deck and seeing the true you. Oh, I love that.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice.
Let's see, can I get a better view of it? Not really.
Pull it back just a little.
Camera.
Very
Yeah.
nice. I love that deck. That's on my list, my wish list one of these days.
I
And I
know.
just want to
My
let
deck
everybody
wish
know that I'm attempting to do simulcasting right now. So
You are simulcasting.
yeah,
And we have
thanks.
people here.
I'm learning. But if you guys, I don't care which side you watch it on, but if you want to just give me a like and then come back to here, it's okay with me. And I can't really handle the chat part, but
Don't worry about it. I'll take care of the chat part. You just enjoy.
Yeah.
love you guys. You're so good to me. Well, I pulled from the Wisdom of Lord Ganesha deck, Positive Outlook. So I think that we're living in a time with maybe a little more positive outlook, and it's also a call to maintain our positive outlook when we're feeling challenged, So
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do know I've had to really be looking at the upside of everything lately. It's been a challenge.
Mm-hmm. I agree with all of the above.
I understand.
And the astrology backs it all up.
Oh, I wonder what it says.
Hey, Laurie Huntsinger and Gypsy JJ and Synchrone.
Synchrony.
Synchrony.
Synchrony or synchrony?
And
Thank you, MEG, for the haircut thing.
and thanks everybody for being here.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to some crystal talk.
Yes, yes.
Well, good. I brought some crystal information. So I've been going through, I have 30 notebooks that I've compiled over the years. I've taken about 200 crystal books, and I would go to used bookstores or yard sales, thrift stores, and buy 2 copies of a crystal book and broke them all down. And I've got everything put alphabetically so that you can, look up crystals. And it's like, well, that's great, but that's not very helpful for when you just know what color a crystal is or what it looks like. So now I'm taking the leftover photos that I have, pictures, out of magazines and stuff, books that are the same, as what's in the other books. And then I'm making them just by color. So then I'm getting to where I can identify much more quickly.
Somebody else had done that with flowers, and I gave a book like that to somebody. He takes lots of photographs, and I gave him that so that he could identify the flowers easier, because doing it by color made it a lot easier to find them. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So I've been up to my eyeballs in crystal information for the last week, sitting, cutting things out and pasting and gluing, and getting things fine-tuned and picking up a lot of information. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk about crystals with our viewers. And I thought I would start out with the most far out crystal, and then we'll work back, right? So
that would have to be moldavite.
There you go. So here's a nice piece of moldavite. You guys can
That
see.
is a nice piece.
And moldavite usually isn't in very big pieces.
No, the one I have is tiny.
Yeah.
And
this
almost
is
like lace. It's so thin.
Is it like leafy looking almost?
Mm-hmm.
That's from a city called Besednice. Those that are like that, it's in the Czech Republic. That's a specific kind of moldavite.
I'll be darned.
And because I have one of those too, but it's almost looks like it's just real
translucent. It's almost translucent.
Yeah, it's real. They're really
yes,
it
like is a
really
meteor hypnicity. You're right.
What'd she say?
It's a meteor.
Yes. Well, it's not a meteor. It was formed over 15 million years ago when a meteorite hit the Earth, and this is what formed. And it's, from that process.
Right.
It's not a meteor, but it was formed in the process. So it's kind of like I nickname it extraterrestrial glass, because it brought in the energy that, and then
mine
also
is like, it has a very glassy, opaque, glassy appearance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, this meteor landed in the area of the Czech Republic in a place called the Moldau Valley, Moldau, Moldau Valley. I know there's also Moldau quartz that's probably got some of the same energy in it. So it's a fusion of extraterrestrial energy as well as terrestrial energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really good if you're wanting to get in touch with ETs and, the galactics and things like that.
It's very expensive, though.
It is, but you don't need a great big piece,
Hey, Judy.
And and I have a heart-shaped one, a naturally heart-shaped one that I wear all the time. And I have a couple Herkimers on too that I wear all the time. But those two things really go together. This is also a really good stone for people who live alone or who spend a lot of time alone. This is supportive of that. And it's good for spiritually evolved cats. So, I know we've got one or two cat people out there, I think, in our viewers, in our audience. So you might want to think about, not that I certainly wouldn't put it on their collar or anything because it's too precious that they might lose it, but just having it in the area can help. And if you want to, sorry?
I said, that's interesting. Laurie Huntsinger says, can it come in the color green? I'm not familiar with it coming in any other color but green.
Yeah, I believe moldavite is green. There are some other, there's tektites that are black, and there's like Libyan gold tektites that are more like a light yellow color that are a similar type material. But this is this only comes from the Czech Republic. And you have to be careful, as with all stones. This is another one that's knocked off by a lot of people. They're making fakes and selling them as the real thing. So you always want to trust who you're buying your stones from. Do your research the best you can. And let's see. And so if you want to recharge moldavite, the best way to do that is to leave it outdoors on the night of a meteor shower. Now, and this with your more precious ones, unless you've got a really secure place outside, you might want to leave it on your windowsill that the moonshine, the light or the meteor light can come through. Be careful. And like out here, we have pack rats. You have to be careful putting any little things out there because they'll come and put it back in their nest. They come and they leave you some little gift, and then they take stuff because that's why they're pack rats. They're always moving stuff around. So, yeah. And this is something else. This is called by the Native Americans. They call it the talking stone because you get so many messages. I've had some really interesting experiences once I started working with moldavite and dreams they were lucid dreams, but they were involving other people that were in other places. And this, we were experiencing something at the same time when I was lucid dreaming with moldavite. So, and there's a story. I'll get it. I get up and get the book in a second. But it was written by Dennis Tcz. I think it's Tsosi, and I believe he's from the White Mountains area in Arizona. And Native American man, and he and his wife would go to Sedona, periodically to sell their wares and things. And while they were there, his wife, unbeknownst to him, had bought a moldavite. And when they came home, and she put it under the pillow at night to sleep. Well, that night he could not. There was so much noise coming from this moldavite. He couldn't sleep. He was just being nothing.
Sleep.
He's like, please, put them on mute. But so he wrote a really interesting book about that that story and how that you know, and I can say from personal experience. Now, there's some people who say it's too much for them. It's hard to handle. So it's with any stone, you know, we all are sensitive to different stones in different ways. So but sometimes it's just a matter of, okay, maybe it does kind of make you feel a little lightheaded or whatever that is. And if you work with it a while, you'll adjust to that feeling, and, you know, you'll be able to manage it just like anything that you deal with that can make you a little, like even doing readings and stuff, we kind of get kind of spaced out and, you know, being in that high energy field. So don't negate it and just think, well, that's not for me, or it's a bad stone, because it's not. I know sometimes people say negative things about it, but I think it's a wonderful stone. I just really love it. And it comes in all kinds of really cool shapes and fun stuff. So that's Moldavite. That's the first guy. The next one we have. Did anybody have any questions about Moldavite?
Only Lori's.
Okay. So I'll move on to the next stone. Well, it's not really a stone, but it's considered in the same category, and it's mother of pearl. And I chose this different than just pearls because it's easier to show the mother of pearl. But a lot of the properties are very similar, because a pearl, you know, is made of nacre. It's inside the oyster, where a piece of sand or some little irritant got in there, and then the oyster, you know, it keeps layering and layering this material over that, and then it's got the nacre. That's the part that gives that pearlescent look. It's NACRE. So but you can also find mother of pearl. It comes from oysters and abalone shells. And so here is an example of a shell that's got, you can see that pearlescent.
So pretty.
That's the natural shell, just the way it is. You know, they make mother of pearl buttons. They do a lot of stuff with mother of pearl. They do a lot of inlay with mother of pearl. So, and here's some really cool earrings that I got that are shaped like angel wings, and they're made out of mother of pearl. Oops.
And I was going to say, when I was a kid, that was a really big thing. If you got something made of mother of pearl,
it's really special. And, you know, back they would like when they made vanity sets, you know, like hairbrushes and mirrors, you know, a lot of times you have a mother of pearl handle on a, you know, 6-shooter pistol or whatever, you know what I mean, back in the day when they had all those,
and that was considered a really, really big item.
Yeah. So for the astrology, mother of pearl is related to the sign of Cancer. So we're in Cancer season, coming up on Cancer season. And it's related to the water element, which is no surprise, right? And it's associated with all sea mothers. So that comes from, well, one of the legends was in Peru, they considered pearl and mother of pearl and things like that to be sacred as the mother sea. And that's also a connection. The mother sea was also the whale goddess. So this is another way to get in tune. I learned from the Galactic Heritage cards how much you can connect with your dream time if you ask the whales to come in before you go to sleep. So, you know, you could also use mother of pearl to help with that meditation, or bringing in that energy, welcoming the whale energy. So mother of pearl, if you want to use it with your pets, it comforts animals who have been given away after being weaned. So again, you know, just having it in your environment, or, you know, close to that area, or, you know, when you're holding that pet, you could hold a piece of, you know, some pearls. You could have pearls. You can hold a shell like this, anything like that, and then just visualize, you know, sending that energy to your pet. So the way to recharge this, can anybody guess how would we recharge?
Water.
What kind of water?
Hot water.
Salt.
Yep. So you can, if you have seawater, that's great. And if you don't have seawater, you know, get some purified water, and you can add sea salt. Make sure it's sea salt to it. And that would be a beautiful way to recharge any of your. Now, if you've got really nice pearls, I'm not telling you to go and throw them in salt water. Okay. Just, you know, and I also learned that a lot of people, they have really nice, expensive pearls. And where do they keep them? They keep them in a safe. That's the worst thing you can do to your pearls.
You wear them
that way.
They need the body oils.
Yeah, it needs the body oils.
But there's a lot of other, you know, there's freshwater pearls. There's a lot of things. And you could.
If I'd known you were doing pearls, I would have worn my pearls today. My pink pearls from Hong Kong.
Oh, la la.
I have a set of black ones and a couple different colors.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, pearls are amazing, the colors they come in. I love hearing the stories of somebody went to a restaurant, and they got oysters and they ended up scoring a big pearl. It's like, I can't even imagine. Of course, that'll never happen to me because I won't eat oysters, but
I like oysters. I don't eat anything from the sea anymore, though.
no.
No,
Okay.
not after living on the ocean and seeing what was dumped in it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can understand that. So the next stone we're going to move on to is malachite. Malachite's
Love
another
malachite.
really deep
Yeah,
green.
These are all stones that are used in Native American jewelry too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it to things that people are more familiar with to start off. So you see this funny formation in there? How it's kind of got an indentation and it's filled with, they call it druzy. It's got little tiny crystals in there. See them sparkle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this indentation here is called a vug, V-U-G, and it comes from the Cornish word from the miners in Cornwall that were tin miners, and they pronounced it voog, V-O-O-G-H. So I suppose you could say vug or voog, but then that word in Cornish means cave. So you can see how this is like a little cave. So this is similar to how like amethyst forms in a geode, so that's enclosed, but this is not enclosed like the. Is that my microphone doing that?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay, I didn't know if it hadn't happened. Hadn't had that happen before. Okay, so Moldavite is related to the astrology sign of Scorpio, and the earth element.
We're not talking about Moldavite. We're talking about malachite.
I'm sorry, malachite. The M word. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's the astrology sign of Scorpio and the earth element. And this is also associated with the love goddess. So if you want to get in touch with loving energy and loving the earth, this is a really great stone. And malachite's fairly inexpensive. You don't need a great big piece.
Yeah, that's true.
I think my piece is about that big around.
Very nice. And so because this was, well, not because of that, but another thing related to the miners is they would carry this as a stone to protect them when they were down working in the mines. So it cleanses and protects from the effects of the industrialized world. So, all kinds of pollution, like air pollution, EMFs, noise pollution, all that kind of stuff, have some malachite that can help.
Right.
And it can also cleanse your auric field. So you just keep all these things in mind and what a great way to cleanse your auric field when you're connecting with Mother Earth energy. I think really goes hand in hand. It's a heavy stone. It's it's a little, I don't know if it's more dense or whatever, but it's pretty heavy. And it's also good for dealing with the effects of being around a lot of fluorescent lights. So
I could have used that when I was a kid. I hated fluorescent lights in schools.
Oh yeah, they drain you. It's like they just suck the energy out of you. So you can place it near your computer. You can place it near your, if you still have a landline phone, or you can put it near, if you keep your cell phone, in the same place or whatever. Keep that can help with that. And by doing that between the computer and the cell phone, it helps to filter out negative communications that might come through.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you can, if you have a pet and you live near cell towers or a power station. I live like a block from a power station. It says it's really good to put a small piece, not this piece, obviously, because it's a big one, a small piece of it under your pet's bed to help the pets with that energy. And you might want to, because some dogs can be pretty rowdy with their pet bed. If you can take it, you could stitch it to it or like put it in a little pocket. You know what I mean. You could find a way to incorporate into the pet bed so it wouldn't be loose. And as far as like professions, this is really good for salespeople, or and especially like if you're at a trade show and you've got your booth set up and everything, have some malachite with you. Can help you with the communications. And, and the communications both way, what you're saying and who is approaching you and asking you questions. This can be helpful for that.
I like that.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. So how to cleanse this stone? And it says to cleanse it regularly because it's so hard working. So keep that in mind. So if you're actively using it, you know, let's say, you know, I do a lot of computer work. So I run this under fresh water once a month, and just to clear that out. Now it says that this, you know, running it underwater can weaken it over time. And if by chance it does, like say the malachite falls apart from that process, they recommend to bury it and honor that, say that, you know, it's done its work. Thank you for doing, you know, performing that clearing for me. So really, really good one for.
We have a couple of questions.
Yes, please.
Actually, we haven't gotten to amethyst yet, but why don't we wait for that?
Okay.
But Cosmic Blue Avian was asking if shungite also helps with electrical and EMF waves. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is my piece of shungite that I keep around my electronics because I have my iPhone, my iPad, my computer here. So it stays right next to mine.
Yeah, there's a number of different.
In addition to the other things that malachite could do.
Yeah, I'm just talking. Yeah, you know, here's another. This is what lies by my computer. It's a great big piece of selenite. So I got
that too, a selenite wand here.
Yeah, I've got one that size and a little one.
Yeah. There's more than one. This isn't like what I'm telling you isn't, you know, this is the only stone that does X, Y, or Z, but it, you know, gives you some, helps you learn about some of the possibilities. So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the next stone I'll move on to is citrine. So this is probably what people are used to seeing at citrine. This is just a raw, you know, piece. And citrine is a form of quartz. Okay, so it's got a lot of the same properties. And here, I don't know if you can see this one. Got some spheres. They never show. This one's kind of got like a third eye in it. It's really cool. That's another citrine. There you go. It's really. Sometimes I use this when I'm like, I use it for scrying or when I'm doing psychic readings and stuff. And this is a larger, another citrine. Okay, so another thing, you're going to want to know who your dealer is. And if you see citrine that looks really like almost orange, you know, or the yellow is just, it's a little too yellow or it's a little too bright, what they have done is they have taken either quartz or amethyst and they've heat treated it in a way that causes it to turn that color. So just be aware, you know, there's a difference between natural citrines and ones that have been heat treated.
Hey, Val.
Let's get this. I'll keep holding this one up here because I like this one. All right. So this is related to the zodiac sign of Gemini. And, you know, all the stones, it doesn't mean that this is the only one. I just picked the top, you know, the most often mentioned one for the astrology. And it coordinates to the air element. So it's a powerful transmitter of solar healing energy in Atlantis. So for those of you who want to tune into Atlantis and maybe lifetimes there or talk to guides and, you know, beings from Atlantis, this would be, and citrine is one of the lesser expensive stones. You know, of course you can get higher grade quality and pay a high dollar, but, you know, just because you have an expensive stone doesn't make it more powerful. And from the research I was doing this week, one of the things I found out was, as with any stone, any clear stone, like a citrine or a quartz, amethyst, you know, we're drawn to the ones that are so clear. And we think the more clear they are, the more beautiful. Well, actually, if you're in need of healing, mental, emotional, spiritual, any kind of healing, you're better off working with a cloudy or crystal rather than a clear one.
Why is that?
It's just how the energy of the stones work.
Interesting.
If you're having a health issue of of any sort, physical, mental, emotional, whatever, you're kind of cloudy, right?
True.
So you want to resonate, you want to match the frequency to get the most out of the healing process. So using one that's just perfectly clear, you may not get the results the way you want them. You know, it might not be a match, or it might just be too harsh of a change. So, and then I also read that it said that if you do work with one that is more like cloudy and you're doing this kind of healing work, sometimes that stone will turn clear over time. So and I've heard stones go
quartz.
cloudy, stones go clear, the stones develop little fractures or get new rainbows. But crystals are the only non-living thing that grows, right? Because that's how they're formed. They grow, over millions of years, that's the process. So, and up until the 16th century, citrine was an umbrella name for all of the yellow stones, even topaz. So if you're reading something old, you might want to be aware they mention citrine, be aware that they may be talking about something different. So it says that citrine holds pure sunlight and never absorbs any negativity. So it's a great stone for staying clear, being protective, and you don't have to worry about clearing this one. That doesn't mean you can't recharge it, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But as far as clearing it, you can put it in your other stones or other things that you would like to have cleared. And it does not absorb the negativity, but it transforms it into positive energy. So it's a good role model for us too, to take our negative
to have, yeah,
and turn them into positive. And it says it holds the clear sunlight of early morning, but not the heat of the midday sun.
Right.
So think about maybe tune into it in the morning more and draw that energy in, and then and have that solar energy with you, helping you throughout the day. It's also called a merchant stone. People will keep a small piece of citrine in their cash register, or carry it in their change purse, or in their wallet or something. It's really good for that.
I've carried a string of citrine beads for years in my purse. For years.
Where did you get them? Do you know?
A gem store.
Gem store, yeah. I love citrine. It helps with communications and selling, and you can also put it near your computer, because how many of us use the computer to generate income for ourselves, either doing creative things, YouTube, or you've got a web page, or you're doing eBay or Etsy or something. This is another good thing to keep by your computer, and realize that how much a communication device your computer is.
True.
Helps you sorry?
That's very true.
It helps your creative talents become lucrative, and it's excellent for those who work in the arts. So, and I know they even make like healing mats that'll be citrine and amethyst, that'll have crushed in there. So that's another, there's a lot of ways you can incorporate citrine in your life. So it also can clear dark areas of your home that are caused by restless ghosts or negative earth energies. And what I really like about a sphere, if you do have a corner where the energy is kind of stuck, or you feel there's some kind of darkness there, a sphere is the perfect thing to put in that corner, because it shoots the energy out in all directions, and it helps get that moving,
Cool.
and lighten up that area. Now I have not tried it because I haven't had any ghost problems of late. So, but if anybody's got any ghost stories that are related to citrine, let us know.
Oh yeah, I'd love to know that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? So citrine helps your pets, especially rescue pets, and it helps them when they settle into their new home with you, or say they have to be in a temporary accommodation, that it can help them adjust to that. And, here's, again, we talk a lot about remote healing. We're doing this over YouTube. So we've tuned into, we're becoming really good at ways to send our energy out. So maybe you know of a pet, or maybe you want to help pets in general, or rescue animals in general, somewhere across the country, across the world, that are being affected by something going on somewhere. Sit and hold your citrine and send that energy out to help those animals. So you can help people too, but I was just
we always think of the animals first.
Yeah.
At least I do.
So it also it's positive energy, drives away darkness and night fears, and it protects against negative people. So if you have issues with having a lot of nightmares, or afraid of the dark, or anything like that, obviously I wouldn't put this under my pillow because I might not sleep very well. But you can get small little chips, or really inexpensive, or wear a citrine necklace if that's comfortable to bed. There's a lot of ways you can incorporate that. So it can keep on energizing and protecting you for a long time. And it's good to use if you're under pressure or are away from home and feel vulnerable. So again, something good to carry around in your pocket, or, you know, just keep on your person in one way or another. It doesn't have to be in a jewelry state. You just carry a little piece of it with you. And if you're feeling like, okay, I'm in a situation that I'm not comfortable with, take a moment, you know how they just rub that stone, and ask it to help you.
Stones are a real easy way to carry these stones around too. The little oval palm stones are great for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some that are made like just like your thumb goes right in them, really comfortable. So to recharge citrine, leave it in the sunlight from dawn until noon, okay, to get that morning sunlight. And it fills it with extra radiance, especially on the summer solstice. And the summer solstice is coming up on June 20th here this year. That's in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you want to go to what we would call the winter solstice. So that's December 21st. That doesn't mean that you only do it then, but that's
the 21st, isn't it?
Pardon me?
It'll be a full moon too. The next day, the 21st is a full moon.
Mm-hmm. So, you can do this, once a month, or you can just really focus on those solstices. But it says don't expose it to too intensive sunlight too often, or it may crack.
Right.
Now, I live in Arizona. I don't put my crystals out in the bright sun. And even careful on windows, because the glass just magnifies the heat and the intensity of the light coming through the window. So
it's okay at night, but during the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Arizona can get pretty damn hot.
Hey, little dog dust up here. Sorry about that.
I've got a fly buzzing me.
Do you?
A big ass horsefly is somehow in my office, and
you're an artist. You draw flies.
Ooh.
Bad.
Forgive me. I didn't say you smelled. I said you're an artist. Come on now. So, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so that is citrine. And again, remember, if you think, oh, look at how pretty, they're such a bright yellow, they're probably heat treated. Doesn't mean they're not a citrine. They're not fake, but it does sometimes alter the energy, the healing energy and whatever of the stone. Sure. And just be aware of what you're buying, and if you like the heat treated ones, buy them. If that's what appeals to you.
Yeah, that's what works for you. Absolutely.
Go for it. Do we have any questions on?
Yeah, there were some things.
Wait a minute. What did I do? So Miss Jenny was asking, Ms. Juno, what stones can you use if you want? When you touch an amethyst, it gives you a monster headache. Wow, that's unusual.
Yeah.
Were you going to talk amethyst next?
Yep, that's next.
So let's wait until you're finished for that. Yeah,
let me ponder on that. And think about.
We can take the questions after you finish.
Okay.
Stones if you want. That would be easier.
It works for me.
If you guys hang on just a little bit.
So and this is the last stone I've got, I think, here for this little. Oh, and here's one more. I got a really cool one. Amethyst to show you. So amethyst, the zodiac is Pisces. So here's one that's got the crystals in it.
Yeah.
So this came from inside a big, probably more like a cathedral than a geode, right? The big
one on my desk.
Beautiful.
One.
Yeah, I've got.
Yeah. And who doesn't love purple? I think amethyst is just one of the most favorite stones.
I've got a bunch of amethysts. But then again, that's my birthday.
Yeah, very nice. Ooh, there you go. So is that a chevron amethyst?
A what?
A chevron, when it's got the bands that's a chevron amethyst. Because there's a lot of different types of amethysts. I'm not going to go into all those today, but
I had a really beautiful one, but I had to give it up. So I'm just been getting things back.
No, then you can get new crystal friends to come live with you,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So it's connected again to the water element. So we got a lot of water element stones today. Another one that's good for sleeping peacefully. So here's another, obviously, again, not putting this guy under my pillow, but you can get some small pieces of amethyst or just have it next to your bed if you have a nice big piece. I've got a great big piece that is, it almost is shaped like a face, you know, like a head. And that's a really cool one. I'll show that in another show. So another way to get peaceful sleep, and not all, you know, there's only certain stones that it's okay to make an elixir, which means you're putting it in water and letting the energy of the stone infuse the water. And you can't do that with every stone, so just be really careful and look into toxicity possibilities. Amethyst is okay.
Absolutely.
So you can put it in some still mineral water, and what I mean by still, I mean it's not sparkling water. You know, you just want it just plain water, not with that carbonation added to it. And leave it in there for 8 hours, and then you drink that water before you go to bed. And that is said to help you sleep. So, and if you're uneasy about putting any stones in water and drinking from that, which I get totally, you can just put the amethyst next to the glass of water for 8 hours, and it'll still absorb the energy, you know, and then drink it just as directed.
Cool.
So this is a stone of spirituality and contentment, you know. I know we're all so content these days. Nobody needs it. We're all just breezing through life these days. It facilitates the transmutation of lower energies into higher energies or higher frequencies on the both spiritual and the ethereal levels. So cool. This is really, I would think, you know, this is like one of those everybody should have an amethyst kind of thing.
I agree. Everybody should have an amethyst.
Yes,
yeah, at least one, right?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
And it's said to support sobriety. Now, sobriety doesn't have to just mean alcohol. There's a lot of other ways, you know, so I would say having to do with any kind of addictions, this would be helpful. A large polished amethyst will cleanse and restore energies to any other crystal. So if you have another crystal that's been working really hard, like, you know, a black tourmaline or a smoky quartz or something that, you know, that tends to grab on the negative energies, take it and put it with a piece of amethyst and wrap it. It says in a piece of black silk cloth. If you don't have black silk and you just have some silk, use what you have. Okay, this is not about going out and spending a lot of money to do things. And if you want to recharge this, you recharge it under the moonlight.
Cool.
So it's really great for those full moon ceremonies and things like that, you know, really great to put your amethyst out. A lot of times amethyst will fade in the sun, so be careful where you place it in your home. You know, the sun, and then if you had any kind of bright lights in your house, also be aware of that. Under a lamp all the time or something, it may fade it over time. It says a large polished amethyst will cleanse and restore. Oh, I just said that, sorry. And carefully wrap the amethyst and other crystals you wish to clear in a dark silk cloth. And it's just like how we talk about wrapping up your tarot cards, right? They recommend a lot of times if you can, you know, keep them wrapped up in this silk cloth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know silk is expensive. Go to a thrift store and buy a garment that's made out of silk. Cut it up. You know, you'll get something really inexpensively, and you can just, you know, hem the edges or whatever, and then you've got a nice, you know, inexpensive way to have some silk to wrap your whatever in. So I was going to show you. This is a really cool amethyst. This was from an amethyst stalactite or stalagmite. See how it's got the different colors?
That is very cool.
Isn't that cool? It's more purpley than it shows, but yeah. So that they call that a slice. See, so it's just taken, you know, they took that stalactite or stalagmite and they cut it in all those different pieces.
They did that to this one too.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, we had an amethyst question.
We did. Hang on a sec. Heather, are you rubbing two stones together?
Mm-mm.
Okay, because it was your mic. Yeah, it's her mic.
Yeah, I don't think it's mine.
It's not. It's Heather's mic.
Okay, it must be the fan.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so Jenny's question. If you touch amethyst and it gives you a monster headache. Well, a couple of things are coming to mind. You know, not every stone resonates with every person. So if you find you have a sensitivity to amethyst, you know, maybe go, you know, there's a lot of other things like quartz or citrine or whatever. There's other things. You don't have to stick with the amethyst. I'm also hearing that you maybe have had a past life where you had a problem with drunkenness. So that this could be, it's bringing that back. You know what I mean? That sense, you know, what do you think of when you get drunk and you got a hangover? I got a headache or whatever. So that just might be, I'm not saying that, you know, this is something in this life, this current life, but maybe it's something that you need to heal from a past life, is a possibility. If I would also recommend, if you have some amethyst and you really are devoted, you really want to work with it and, you know, determined to work with it, do the thing like it talked about with the citrine, you know, and put those together, like have the citrine maybe clear the amethyst. It might just need clearing. There's, you know, it's hard to know the exact reason why, because it's about the frequency, the vibration that's going on between you and that crystal. You know, maybe sit with it, maybe not touch it, but maybe just sit with it and talk to it and ask it and say, what, do you have a message for me? Why are you giving me these headaches? You know, and maybe there's some kind of a message in there for you that really needs to come forward. But, you know, it's like, you know, way back before I moved out here 30 years ago, I went to this I'm from Western New York, and I went to this old church that was no longer a church. It was now a really makeshift thrift store, and it was right on the shores of Lake Erie, and it was one of those really foggy mornings. So it was like, woo, the whole thing was, you know, just creepy and cool. And I got this really old medical book that was written in 1900. And one of the things that it said in there is, if it hurts when you do that, don't do that anymore. So if all else fails, don't do that anymore.
Right. That's funny. Okay, let's see.
I had a question. Did that take care of whatever it was?
No, it didn't.
Then I don't know what it is.
It's okay. But it's actually mostly when Juno talks.
Oh.
But I just heard it when I was talking too. So
yeah, I can hear it when you're talking too, Priscilla.
But when I mute you, it's okay. I'm going to mute her now and tell me if is it still doing it now that I'm talking?
No, I don't hear it now.
It's whenever I mute her, I can't. It goes away. I don't know, Heather. I'm not going to worry about it though.
Yeah,
honey.
yeah. This is fun of doing YouTube and all these little technology things.
And remember, we had 2 M-class solar flares early this morning. So who knows?
Oh, geez, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They just keep happening and keep happening.
So
Jenny,
Rhonda, I just wanted to finish up with Jenny and just let her know that.
I'm sorry, I thought you were done. I apologize.
No, it's okay. Well, I just thought to tell her that if you can email me at junosees, SEES@gmail.com if you have more questions, or, you know, if something else comes up with that, or if you want to, if you have some feedback on something you've tried and maybe it alleviated that, let me know. I'd be happy to communicate with you.
Okay. Now, Rhonda says, I put a crystal at the end of my bed due to having a lot of spirit activity coming to me at night. I was getting sharp spasms in my feet and had to remove it. Is there another stone that would help? Well, what kind of crystal did you put in the first place? You didn't say what.
Yeah, exactly. There's that would be helpful to know what kind of crystal she used.
Onyx or what's the other black?
Black tourmaline.
Black tourmaline is really good for that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. For and then thinking, well, citrine would be good. I would say any of the stones, like one of the things I learned was kyanite. Blue kyanite is like the granddaddy of clearing, and it never needs to be cleared either. That's another inexpensive.
Blue kyanite. I remember that, peoples. That's good to know.
Yeah, so you might want to try something like that. If it's that, Well, and here's the thing, she says that she's having a lot of spirit activity coming to her. Is it the stone that's causing the discomfort, or is it the spirit activity? Look at these things. Talk to the stones, do clearing with them and then try it again. Or you can, try a different stone. Try one that's, like I would say a citrine that does come to mind.
Clear
because
crystal, she says, is what she was using.
Clear quartz. Okay. Well, maybe that clear quartz energy is just like too much. And also, I know in Jyutsu, okay, so if, say somebody's in a coma or a new baby is born, okay, you want to bring that soul fully into their body, you hold their feet. That brings that energy all the way down from their head, all the way into their feet. So what you're doing with that stone at the bottom of your feet, because your feet are jumper cables, have all the power just like your hands do. So they're very, they have a lot of, they take in and give out. You think about how, we're walking around on our feet all day. We treat our feet terribly, and then
we do.
And we don't.
And then stick them in those high pointy toed shoes.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and those high heels and everything else. Wonder why are my dogs barking? My feet hurt.
Oh
so
man,
be kind to your feet. So I'm thinking that maybe
Heather, you're going to have to unmute yourself when you talk, because I'm having to mute you. You're still muted. Wait a minute. Let me do it.
Yeah, I can't unmute it if you've muted it.
Okay.
But anyway, it's where all your nerve endings are. That's
Right.
why they do foot massages and things. And so think about everything you're doing to them.
Exactly. And I think that,
as Cosmic Blue Avian said, it could be energy and cellular upgrade happening for the physical discomfort too. Yeah, very true.
But it could also, here's something you could try. Like, say you want to keep using that crystal at your feet. And this would be combining some Jinshin Jyutsu with that, because I'm kind of feeling like maybe the energy is getting pulled down to your feet, but it's not rising back up. It's not then, doing that as above, so below, that circulating through your body. So this is a really good thing to do anyways. Just lay your hands at that crease where your legs meet your torso at the groin, just like you have your hands in your front pocket. So what that does is that opens the gateway from the upper body to the lower body. So I would be curious to see if that doesn't help circulate that energy back all the way up and around, more in the figure 8 pattern than just having it come down and then being, more at your feet, which could cause your legs to cramp and hurt, I would think.
Right.
And also, when you're doing this work like this, drink a lot of water. This is really, really important, and especially because it's summertime and it's really hot most places, and I don't think we realize how quickly we get dehydrated. So take that into account.
Thanks for that question.
Mm-hmm.
Can clear global shaped crystals be used as crystal balls, or do you have to use a globe assigned to that?
You can, what? You can use whatever. Scrying, you can scry in a black obsidian,
Right.
It doesn't have to be a clear crystal.
Yeah, it's like regular mirrors and black mirrors. They both of them work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have I can't pick it up right now just because it's too heavy for me, but it's probably about this big, and it's a clear quartz crystal ball, but the quartz has been melted and, formed into that. It's not a natural, but it still has the ability to be used for scrying. So, play around with these things. That's what's the fun of it, is try them out and see what works for you. You can scry in a cup of water, but so, don't get too hung up on you have to have this for that, and the things that I'm sharing with you are just maybe the more popular ways. It's, it's just it's a personal relationship you have. The crystals are like beings, so some of them are going to have their own personalities too. Maybe a Veracruz amethyst, for example, would have a different energy than say this amethyst. And Veracruz amethysts are like these little points. They're little tiny, and then they have, they're white pretty much, and then they have the purple at the ends. And that they carry a different kind of amethyst energy. I can't rattle off all the amethyst energies off the top of my head today, maybe tomorrow.
Oh, why not? What's wrong with you?
But I encourage people, experiment with your crystals. If it hurts when you put it in one place or this or that, or you feel a certain way, then move it and try it another way. Cleanse it, give it a bath, or put it out under the moonlight or the sunlight or whatever is appropriate, and then try again and see. And it's more about the, finding a way to match your frequencies. Are you needing to raise up, or is it having a harder time coming down to where you're at?
Interesting. Okay, cosmic blue.
Mm-hmm.
How do you clear the base chakra glands and energy by crystal or JSG technique?
Well, what I do, one of the best things I do for chakras is whenever I get in the shower, I use my shower wand. I've got one of those things you can take off, and I spin my chakras 8 times. Each one, I start at the one below the knees, and then I go to the root chakra, and I go all the way up. When I do my third eye chakra, I kind of, I don't drown myself. It still hits there, but not like, because I've tried it and I went, this is not fun. They're all good except that. And then I do the crown chakra, and then I do the one above the crown chakra. I found that really helps. Let's see. So any of the red stones would help you, because the base chakra is red, right? That's that primal energy, prime mover. So again, hands in the front pocket, like I was
Carnelian.
telling you, carnelian. Carnelian. There's red jasper. There's a lot of, these red jasper, carnelian, they're not expensive. You don't have to have a ruby, the high quality ruby doesn't mean it's going to be a better healing stone. Hey, if you got those and you can work with them, go for it. I'm not discouraging you, but I know a lot of times, money.
I do a meditation, let me see if I can find it really quick. Kelly Howell, Howell, Awakening Kundalini Meditation. And it balances all your chakras every time you do it. It's about 40 minutes long. I have it on iMusic, and that's been my go-to meditation for the last, scarily enough, close to 20 years. And I have tried so many other guided meditations, and I always end up back with this one. Because she just is, and she has a bunch of other different meditations, but you can find her anywhere in Spotify or anything. But that Awakening Kundalini meditation, I highly recommend it for clearing all your chakras.
Yeah, I know I tried it, but my hearing is so bad I can't understand what she's saying, even if it's piped right into my ear. So, don't feel discouraged if you can't do it, but if you can do it, do it.
Yeah. And I've only gotten as far as the base chakra, but there's a playlist on my channel, and there's one for mindless meditations, and it's the root chakra. And it's done to, I can't remember what the frequency is off the top of my head, but it's done to a specific frequency to help with the root chakra. And also, like I was talking about, putting your hands like they're in your front pockets at the groin there, that's also going to help, that area.
Interesting. That's how I lay whenever I'm getting a facial, where I'm laying. It's when I go to sleep at night, I sleep on my back, and that's exactly where my hands are when I go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
They disappear from, because I toss and turn, but when I start,
that's where the position you start on, and that's excellent, because you're really helping. That's a great thing to do if you're going to have surgery of any
Wait a
sort.
minute. What's up, Heather? What's wrong?
Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's off. Are you trying to be off or on?
Well, every time I leave it on, it gives you that noise. So unless I have something to say, I shut it off.
Fine. It's not doing it anymore for some reason.
Okay, I'll leave it on.
You're good.
I should try to be helpful.
Go ahead, Juno.
So in Jyutsu, that safety energy lock that is there at the groin area, that is safety energy lock 15, and it's known as the comedians. So anytime you need a laugh, grab your crotch, I guess. I don't know, but
that's hilarious. I'm not laughing when I go to sleep, but my hands always seem to end up there. But then it's really comfortable when you're wearing shorts or pants to put your hands in your pocket there when you're laying back.
And if only one is available or it's only comfortable to do one, you can do it with just one. The energy still gets there. It just takes a little longer. So if you're having any sort of surgery, doesn't matter if it's eye surgery, foot surgery, any kind of surgery is coming up for you. If you do this ahead of time, it really will help. You will have less bleeding, less pain, less swelling, need less anesthesia, less pain meds afterwards. And you can do it after. It helps you really to recover from the surgery also. And it's really beneficial for anything in the lower limbs, anything with the knees, the feet, the ankles, the legs, anything. So just by what you're doing, Priscilla, you're helping yourself every single night when you do that.
It's funny.
And the sessions are cumulative.
Or she can have a little dog like me that likes to lay there and put her foot right there.
Well, animals can be really interesting with Jyutsu. My dogs, they don't care about if I pet them. They're like, no, my hip hurts, and they shove their hip at me, or whatever's hurting. They just put it there, and this is where you put your hands. And I remember this was probably, 15 years ago or so. I was at my friend Sarah Harper, who's one of the top Jyutsu instructors in the whole world, and she lives here in Tucson. And a lot of times she teaches out of her home. Beautiful home, and it's all painted, like even the ceiling and the walls is turquoise and the couch is turquoise. It's like you just feel like you're walking into this environment. You're not just going into a beautiful home. It's just gorgeous. So she has the massage table set up, when we're doing a class. And she's most of us are animal lovers, so she's got dogs and cats, but she has them all contained when you've got a house full of people and we're doing Jyutsu. And so the tables are pretty close together. So she had all the, everybody, all the animals were put where they needed to be, and the cats were out in the garage. Door was shut. And we started doing this certain flow where we held on the person was one hand went at the knee, on the outside of the knee, and the other hand went at their ankle. Well, this cat somehow got out of the garage, came into the house. They don't know how the door got open. Came up to the table where I was working on somebody and laid down and put their front paws at the knees and their back paws at the ankle. They did the exact flow we were doing.
That's crazy. I love animals. They're so cool.
You can't. And luckily I had my purse right there, and I had my phone, or however I had my phone handy, so I was able to capture it. I'll have to find that picture. I was sat right there, and here's that cat. We were all freaking out, like.
Of course you were.
You can't get a cat to do anything. You know what I mean? Like cats got their own mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Mary Ellen wants to know what crystal helps with chronic pain. I guess it would determine what type of chronic pain it is to be able to determine what crystal to use.
Yeah, and there's different ones. Like I don't have it right within striking distance here, but I have what's called a star ruby. So it's probably maybe about the size of my thumb, and it's polished down, so it's really rounded at the edge. And that's a really good one to rub on your temples, if you have migraines or headaches. There's different stones for different kinds of pain. So like Priscilla said, it would be more helpful to know. And I'm going to be doing a lot more shows on crystals. So I appreciate the questions, and please, if you want to leave comments and questions in either Priscilla and Heather's show or on my show, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And if I don't interact with you personally, I'll add the question into, address it in the next show when I talk about crystals. So
she's saying stenosis and arthritic pain. And stenosis, what type of stenosis? Spinal stenosis?
I was going to say, I didn't notice any crystals helping that. But the biggest thing was to have the surgery. And then I could walk again.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best thing I have found for arthritic pain is I make THC butter with coconut and weed. But you can buy it now. So I don't have to make it anymore. But you can buy it at any weed store. Or I don't recommend the CBD by itself. I find that doesn't do anything for me. But for some reason, when it has the THC and the CBD in it, it really stops my arthritic pain. I use it on my hands and my knees, even my hips sometimes. But mainly I have it in my hands. So like I say, it's got to be THC cream. I find that CBD is pretty much useless for me. But
yeah, and everybody's different what they respond to,
Mhm.
you know. And you know, things like dolomite, any of those like bone kind of, you know, like that you might take a supplement of.
oh, wait a minute. She's saying spine and shoulders.
Yeah, so she's talking about her skeleton, her bones. So that's why I'm saying look at crystals that will help the bones. Off the top of
Calcite.
my head, yeah. I know dolomite is coming to mind.
She was asking about moonstone too.
That's somebody else.
That's somebody else. Okay.
Yeah, let me, like I said, I don't have the whole directory of all the crystals in my head to rattle them off, but I appreciate the questions because I know that a lot of people are in chronic pain, because I'm one of them. And I know that there's a lot of different types of chronic pain. And, you know, that we can have different types of chronic pain at different points in our life too. So,
Absolutely.
but if I can throw in a little bit of Jinshin Jyutsu to help people who are, if you've got arthritis in your fingers, hold your fingers. You're going to be surprised at how much healing you can do. I mean, there's been people who've had fingers that were misshapen, you know, from either an injury or arthritis, and they have straightened out by just, you know, holding your fingers every day.
Oh, wow.
If you,
That's fascinating.
yeah. Or if you've got like a funny, you know, some people get a little funny bump or a little weird, you know, whatever it is, just if you say this knuckle had an issue, was a project, right? That's what we call it, not an illness or a disease. It's just a project. Say I had a real something going on. Just get in there and we say detail it and just put, you know, tolerable pressure, not asking you to hurt yourself. And it's not even necessary to press, but sometimes if you do give a little pressure, you'll break up that tension a little quicker. But just
Right.
say this finger always hurt, you know, or this one, you know, whichever one. But you just hold that finger and give it love. You know, you're watching TV. I do it when I'm standing in the grocery line waiting to be waited on. If I'm sitting at a red light, I'm holding my fingers. There's always time when you can make time to incorporate. And the more you do it, you're going to start finding yourself doing that.
I'm going to start doing that when I'm not doing anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, so there's 14,400 functions in the body, and each finger or each toe harmonizes 14,400 of those functions. So if you think, oh, she just said, you know, hold your thumb, look at all that you're doing, you know, and this is the prime mover. And this is the one that I would say, if you can't remember anything and you're saying, I don't know what she said, too much information, whatever, the thumbs, holding the thumbs, it's the leader of the parade. This helps with everything. This is safety energy lock 1. Okay, prime mover, headaches, nausea, dizziness, anything, an emotional stuck, you know, you're stuck somehow in your thinking, any of those things. You know, Mary would say you can do this for the rest of your jumper cable days. So if all you ever did was hold your thumbs for the rest of your life, you would be really helping yourself. I mean, what do babies do when they come in? They suck their thumb. They're so wise. They know that they're harmonizing themselves.
That's beautiful.
And my friend Sarah, she went to, and she's just tiny little petite, beautiful blonde woman. And she went to a nursing home to teach them how to hold their fingers, you know, simple stuff, not complicated. And she was talking, and she started out with the thumb. And this beautiful little woman was sitting in her wheelchair, bursts into tears. Oh my God. And Sarah's just crushed. You know, what did I say to upset this nice little old lady? She gets down on her knees in front of her. She says, I'm so sorry. What you know, what's going on? What happened? She goes, she's trying to not cry. She says, you know, I've been holding my thumb my whole life, she says. And my family made fun of me my whole life because I held my thumbs. And she was like 99 years old or something. And she said, you know what? They're all dead. So she got, her tears were because she was validated that she was doing what she knew.
Absolutely.
And look at the long life that helped her to achieve. I just loved it. And they're all dead, you know. It was one of those perfect comedic moments, but
I love that.
You know, and
I felt that way when my husband had a really bad heart, And we had a consultation. He was in the hospital. He'd had a heart attack, and he had a consultation with this doctor. And the doctor told him, "You'll die if I operate on you. You'll die if I don't. So you might as well just go home." Mm-hmm. And David and I kind of looked at each other, and we went home. And his cardiologist calls and said, "Where are you? Why aren't you in the hospital?" And so we told him the story, and he was like, "Get back here. Of course we can help you." David outlived that doctor that told him to go home and die.
Medical hexing, you know.
Yeah.
You get a lot of that. So, you know, and that's another point. I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing, you know. Consult your medical professionals, and, you know, always use good common sense, do your research. But, you know, holding your fingers is not going to interfere with any medications, any procedures, or anything.
Right.
It's only going to support.
Juno, what are you up to? We're over time. Oh. Not that it really matters, but thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for
great
that
information. And where are you going to be on next?
My next show is, I'm so excited, international. I'm going to be on with John Binney on the 12th. Now, I don't know if we're doing it live or if we're recording it and showing it later. I don't know yet. I haven't heard back from him. I know I'm meeting with him on the 12th at 1. So that, as far as I know right now, look at my community page and I'll keep you posted when I find out for sure. But I just adore John Binney.
It's on the what do you call it?
The community tab or the description.
Description of this video has all your details in it.
Thank you. And then so I'm excited about that. And then on next Sunday is my regular monthly show with Sherry, Voices from the Swamp.
Yay!
On the afternoon. So those are the 2 shows that I have coming up. And I just now that I got my internet, I just got my internet upgraded yesterday. So now I'm figuring out making all the bells and whistles work so that I can book the sessions that I have promised people. So please know that I will be contacting you within the next week to set that up. And right now it's just about pacing myself because it's getting really busy and just making it all work for everybody. And there goes the love train.
The love train. I hear the love train. I hear my love train here at night when everything's quiet. Then I'm going to bed. I can hear the love train here. It's
very cool.
About a mile down.
Yeah, I can hear it in the morning when I walk the dog because there's nobody else out there. But otherwise, I know I can hear it.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. And we have Tuesday. We're going to do the 12 Universal Laws, take 2. And we're actually going to, Valerie B. from Illumination Portal is going to join Heather and I. And we're going to talk about the astrology as well as the chakras involved with the 12 universal laws. So we're just kind of doing a deeper dive in it. And we don't normally have guests on Tuesday, but for some reason, this one just seems important to add the astrology to it.
A good part to it, yes.
Well, and Valerie's so great.
Happening astrologically for all of us that Valerie's great for doing that. So thank you, Valerie, for being on Tuesday. And then I think she's back actually. She's back on Saturday as well for our new show. So that'll be fun. And then I don't know what our Tuesday after that is. I don't remember. It's not on our list.
It's the one we just talked about, but I'm trying to think what about it.
Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. We've got
Give me a minute and I can do it.
And then after that, we got Terry Suzuki with Terry's Tales. So we've got quite a few shows ready and coming up. And of course, Juno, I hope you'll come back and join us.
Oh, I don't know. Twist my arm, maybe. Yeah, and let us know, guys, if you're interested in learning more about crystals and things like that. You know, just shoot us some feedback or questions, and we'll take it from there.
And then the Tuesday after next Tuesday is on Alcyon.
Oh, the Central Sun, Alcyon.
Oh, very cool.
That's going to be a good one too.
So much.
All right, everybody. We love you, Juno.
Love you all. Thank you for coming.
And
bye, guys. Love you.
Next time.
Love you.